Hey Sparkies, welcome to class tonight. We're actually going to do something fun for our lesson. We're going to read a book about Sparky. We're going to read Sparky Braves the Big Bees. So for many of you, you've come across a verse in your Sparky books from Joshua 1:9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened. Do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. If you haven't come across that verse yet, you're going to get to it eventually. It's a very important verse for us to understand. So we're going to read this story today that's going to help us understand this verse a little bit better, okay? Okay. The bugs of Stump Village were the happiest bugs in Sunny Hollow. They jumped out of bed early every morning, ready to start the day with a hot breakfast. They worked hard, they played hard, they slept hard until that fateful day when everything changed. It was a sunny afternoon when the Snugglebugs arrived in Stump Village. There were hundreds of them, and each one was very cute and cuddly. They chanted together, "We are Snugglebugs! We can sing sweet songs to help you sleep." The bugs of Stump Village didn't need help falling asleep, but they thought the Snugglebugs were so adorable that they each took one home as a pet. But Sparky the Firefly and Katy the Cricket didn't take one. Their spider senses were tingling, huh? As the bugs carried home their pets, the Snugglebugs sang, busy bug, do you work all day? Lay down, send your cares away." Katy frowned when she heard the song. "Something is wrong," she told Sparky. "These bugs don't sound as nice as they seem." That night, all the bugs of Stump Village hopped into bed and snuggled their new Snugglebug friends. What they didn't hear were the words the Snugglebugs sang after they fell asleep. "Honey for my muffin, honey for my cake, honey by the spoonful, all your food will take." The next morning, the streets of Stump Village were empty. The shops were closed well past their opening time, and the village school was empty too. That's because all the bugs were stuck in bed. They were too tired to get up. As Sparky left Bella the Butterfly's house, he turned just in time to see the Snugglebugs sneaking away with food from the village storehouses. "Stop!" yelled Sparky. "That's our food!" But the Snugglebugs did not listen to Sparky at all. Sparky and Katy flew to Clyde the Centipede's house at the top of Stump Village. Clyde was the wisest bug, and he would know what to do. Clyde was very worried after Sparky told him what happened. He was even more worried when he looked down at Stump Village and he saw a frightening sight. The Snugglebugs had come back, and they were stealing all the rest of the food from the village. "Look here," said Clyde. "The bugs of Stump Village have been deceived. Those are not Snugglebugs. They are biting bedbugs. Anyone bitten by a bedbug becomes sick with ladybug fever and can't even get out of bed." "Now they have all of our food," Sparky said. "What are we going to do?" Clyde scratched his long beard. "We can't stop them by ourselves. There are too many of them. After they leave, one of you must look in the storehouse to see what has been taken. The other must travel to a very dangerous place immediately." Minutes later, Sparky was flying to the most frightening place in Sunny Hollow, the Big Beehive. No bug ever wanted to go to the hive. It was called the Big Beehive for a reason. The hive and the bees were huge. Sparky had just spotted the hive when a loud voice called out, "Halt! Stop! In the name of the Queen!" When he looked up, Sparky was surrounded by big bees. Each one was beefy and broad, with black and gold stripes and a stern face. They all had their weapons pointed right at Sparky. "Why have you come here?" asked one of the bees. "Anyone who comes near our queen without permission risks severe punishment." Sparky was terrified. He wanted to fly away as fast as his little wings could carry him, but everyone in Stump Village was counting on him. He had to be brave. Thankfully, Clyde had told him the secret password. "Queen bee, marvelous mother of all bees." The big bees looked at one another for a moment. Then two of them took hold of Sparky's arms and flew him into the hive. "I sure hope Clyde remembered the right password," Sparky thought. The big bees carried Sparky to a huge room filled with buzzing bees of all sizes, shapes, and colors. The queen bee sat in the center of the room on a large throne. "What is your name?" she asked. "And why have you come to my hive?" Her voice was not friendly or kind. Sparky was more afraid than he had ever been, but he reminded himself that he needed to be brave and said, "My name is Sparky, the firefly, and I'm from Stump Village." Then, with his voice growing stronger, Sparky told the queen everything that had happened. Here's the queen. "Help us, O Queen Bee," he pleaded. "You're our only hope." The queen bee thought for a moment. Then she smiled. "It's dangerous for little bugs to come to my hive," she said. "You are very brave to risk that danger for your friends. We will help you." "Thank you, Queen Bee," said Sparky. "Place this honey flower at the top of the tallest building in Stump Village," said the queen. "Do this before the sun rises tomorrow, and we will help you." Sparky flew back to Stump Village and placed the honey flower on top of Clyde's house. Early the next morning, Sparky and Katie went and waited on Clyde's roof. "I hope the big bees really can cure this ladybug fever," said Katie. "But what are we going to do about the food? I searched through the storehouses yesterday, and those terrible bedbugs took all of our food. There won't be a single bite to eat this winter." Before Sparky could answer, a loud buzzing filled the air. The big bees had arrived. Some of them carried clippers, dippers, and buckets of golden honey. The queen landed in the town square with her megaphone. "Bugs of Stump Village," she called out. "This is the queen bee. We are here to help you." The big bees swarmed into every house. Every bug received a drop of the queen's delicious honey. "Hooray!" they cried. It was so good to be well again. All the bugs of Stump Village flew, hopped, or crawled to the village square to get a glimpse of the queen. "Where is the young firefly that came to see me?" she asked. Sparky landed in front of the queen. "You saved our village, your majesty." The queen smiled. "You saved your village, Sparky," she said. "You were brave enough to ask for help, even when you felt afraid. Therefore, I would like to grant you one more request. What else can we do for you?" "The bedbugs stole our winter food," Sparky said. "We won't have anything to eat once the weather turns cold." The queen waved her hand in the air, and in a flash the big bee zoomed into the sky. "What was taken will be returned to you soon," she said. In no time at all, the big bees returned with every stolen sack of food. "Your Majesty, we have removed the bad rash of naughty bed bugs." They are on a faraway island. No other bugs will ever be deceived by them. The bugs of Stump Village let out a tremendous cheer. Woo! Yay! Then Clyde threw a big bee bop party. For the rest of the day, Stump Village had an infestation of some mighty happy insects. Thank you, Queen Bee, said Sparky. We will always be grateful. You are most welcome, said the Queen. You will always have friends in the big bee hive. But don't forget the password. The next morning, Sparky woke up to a very happy sight. All the bugs had finished their hot breakfast and were buzzing around the village. Sparky quickly ate his own breakfast and went into the town square, ready to work. Because Sparky braved the big bees in the big beehive, the bugs of Stump Village could once again work hard, play hard, and sleep in peace. Is that a good story? So, what did Sparky end up doing in order to save his hive? He had to confront some of his fears, didn't he? You know, the world can be pretty scary sometimes. I can think of a lot of things that I'm afraid of, and I know that you must feel the same way. The Bible, this verse that we learned about at the beginning of this book, tells us that, you know, it's okay for us to have fears, but we always need to remember that we're not alone when we face our fears. In Joshua 9, it says, "Have I not commanded you?" This is talking about God. God is talking to us. "Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened and do not be dismayed." Why? The world is full of scary things. Well, he answers, because the Lord your God is with you. We don't have to be super scared about things because we know that God is on our side. So I'm going to put a few questions now on the screen. I want you to try and answer those about the story with your parents to help if you need to. And hopefully you enjoyed the story today. The Snugglebugs told the bugs of Stump Village that they were traveling around helping bugs do what? Sleep. Good job. What was wrong the morning after the Snugglebugs arrived? Well, the bugs were tired. They couldn't get out of bed. And even worse, the Snugglebugs started stealing their food, right? Why did Sparky and Katie go see Clyde? I thought he could help them decide what to do about the cuddlebugs because he was so wise and old. Why was Sparky afraid to go to the big beehive? Because they were really big bugs. Sometimes big is scary. What did Sparky have to remind himself about as he stood before the Queen? He needed to be brave, just like our verse says. Be strong and courageous. Courageous is another word for brave. Sparky was brave even though he was afraid. Think about a time that you were brave even when you were afraid. What can you do the next time that you feel afraid? Well, there's several things you can do. Number one, you can remember your Bible verse. Be strong and courageous. Be brave. You can ask for help, like Sparky asked for help from the big bees. And you can always pray to God because God is there to help us out. Remember, He's always with us. All right, have a great week, guys. See y'all next time.